Let's go. Whose birthday it is?
I don't know.
Damn. No watches.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna have you look at him and answer the question. Alright, so you had to start off with your name and then, yeah, just like.
Give me 1 second before we start.
Your name and like what do you do?
Okay, bet. I had to text our skater homie and our other homie who's bringing him to make sure they were pulling up. Okay.
It'd be wild if
Cool.
there's skating in the background.
It's not beyond them. It's very much not beyond them. Specifically Tristan. Should have came in on the day where they were skating off the fucking shopping cart. Cool. You can do it, but don't hurt yourself, man. All right.
Alright, interview.
Cool.
Take one, whatever.
Yeah,
Cool,
so start
cool.
off with your name, what you do, and where you're from.
Cool. My name's Takeo Faison. I'm a multimedia artist, designer, and just multi-hyphenate creative. And I'm based out of St. Pete, Florida.
What does happiness mean to you?
I think happiness is kind of, it's kind of subjective, but I think at the core of it, it's kind of being able to, live your life how you want to live and kind of, live unobstructed in a sense.
Cool. So what's this whole thing about, this collaboration?
Specifically on a person level, it's a collaboration between friends and also kind of exploring the intersection between our two brands and like the different identities and how they can kind of cross-pollinate to create something new and something we both haven't done before.
Sweet. So like what got you into all this? How did it start? How are you now?
So I guess at the start of it, I've always been generally like artistically inclined kid, but I was never, I never had any like grand aspirations for like a regular career or anything like that. Like if anybody asked me when I was younger what I wanted to be when I grew up, I didn't know, or it'd be like whatever my closest friend at the time was trying to be, because I'm just like, whatever, I'm down for whatever kind of. But as I grew older, as I finished school and started to explore some of my more artistic talents and stuff, I started to recognize that I got a little something here. And with that, started going to HCC, Hillsborough Community College, and there I started to take like formal, art classes and just like, kind of refine my skills for the first time, because up until that point it was just kind of raw dogging it and just kind of like, a little talent, just drawing on this, drawing on that, just seeing whatever sticks. And then I started to kind of refine my skills, and at the end of my time at HCC, my teacher gifted me a screen printing kit, and I took that and I just kind of ran with it, and I started screen printing out of a homie's garage, which was my first studio. And I kind of recognized I sucked at it and I needed some some direction with it. And from that, I started apprenticing with this screen printer through a friend of mine, David, who runs a brand called Polex World. And I used to help him with like a lot of graphics and whatnot. I used to do just like a lot of illustration work. That was another thing I used to do behind the scenes, just kind of refining my skills throughout the years. And I hit him up. I was like, yo, can I work with that screen printer that you mentioned to us? And he's like, yeah, put me in contact. I started working with this guy, and I really just started to refine my skills even more. And then I just happened to come at a good time, because him and his business partner, who would later become my studio mate, they would go down on our space, which is now Bottomville Studios. And at first we were just kind of like a production house, so we were doing like a lot of outside work for others and just just contract work and stuff like that, real boring production shit. And then after the guy, my I guess my former mentor and whatnot, parted ways, we just doubled down, stayed as a multimedia studio. And throughout that whole time, my brand Cowboy was kind of like just developing throughout the years. And it all kind of fed into, Cowboy as a brand, because every time I would learn something new or learn a new trade, it would apply back to Cowboy and what I was doing. And I would just take those new skills and reapply them to Cowboy and create new things. And that's pretty much what leads me to where I'm at today. So, long-winded answer.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. It was really insightful. So, what makes you a person of happiness?
I want to say I'm a person of consistent happiness, and I think that's the challenge of being like, a person and human. I think it comes with like the up downs of life and shit, and this life should be complicated. So I feel like at any chance I can, I try to grasp that happiness through like my creativity, because like the core of it, like being able to express myself creatively and like make money and do what I do off of like my creative skills and stuff, that does bring me a lot of joy and peace. And that's kind of the stuff I strive for, kind of pushing myself creatively and like finding those new challenges and those new hurdles to overcome. Those are like some of the things that inspire me and inspire that happiness. Just exploring myself, learn new things about myself, and just learn new skills and meet new people and experience new things and go to cool places with cool people and cool clothes and do stuff like that. That's the shit that makes me happy.
What does the word redefine mean to you?
I think probably a synonym would be like reinterpret, and kind of like take something that's pre-existing and through your own lens and context reinvent something new or something that wasn't there before. I think Virgil Abloh is probably the most notable figure. He has a 3% rule, which I don't fully agree with. I think it's a little, and in theory it's correct, but I think a little more astutely, I think it's taking something that exists and being inspired by it and being inspired to create something new in like a respectful and tasteful way, versus just jacking somebody's stuff. Like I feel like you gotta really incorporate your vision, your skill set, and like your inspirations to create something that we haven't seen before. And I feel like that's kind of like reinvention and redefining things and doing stuff to push the envelope forward and kind of open up new doors for like the people to come after you. I feel like that's kind of like reinvention, redefining, or reinterpretation.
So you kind of touched on it before, but what's the purpose of this collaboration?
Exclusively, I think it's kind of to expand out to different audiences that kind of touch different audiences that are important to us or like very impactful to us and our identity, specifically being so I guess you will consider it a multicultural collaboration, in the sense that I'm Black and Japanese, and then Kat is Indonesian, and we just have like a broad range of, because like not only is it like we are of those places, but also we spend a lot of time in those places. And specifically me in America and Japan, Kat in Indonesia and America, we have a lot of reference points and places outside of the United States. And I feel like this collaboration is a way for both of us to expand out creatively in different parts of the world that we probably wouldn't be in otherwise, not at the moment anyways. So I think that'd be like the purpose.
How you feeling right now?
I'm chilling, man. I'm straight cooling.
Yeah, you sound good. Feel well.
What mark do you want to leave on this world? If you could just look as far out as you can and say, that's the one thing I want to leave.
I don't think I have a specific mark, in the sense that I want people to kind of look back at what I was doing and be like, damn, yo, that man was working. Like, just kind of like, there's a lot of work that goes unspoken or like behind the scenes or unnoticed, and like I have no issue with that. I respect and understand the game, but it's always fascinating, and it's always like inspiring to me when I see like my favorite artists like Nigo or this or that, and like people are like, yo, I didn't know he was doing that, or he did that, or he had his hands in that pie and that pie. Like, I want people to look back on my career like that, where they're like, yo, I had no idea he was working with this collective or that group or that project or this thing, and like all those things become like cultural institutions, and people are just like, yo, I didn't know that he had his hand in all those pots. And I kind of want my impact to be like you know, everlasting in that sense.
For sure. The grind never stops.
Yeah, the grind don't stop. The creativity don't stop. I hope people look back and be like, damn, that man was a beacon of creativity.
Sweet. One last question. Now walk me through the process of you wake up and you come to the studio and now you're collaborating. So who's there? What's going on?
Generally, my days are pretty structured. Usually when I get or set my mind to a schedule, I kind of stick to a schedule. So give or take, usually I wake up, you know, brush my teeth, get dressed, feed my cats. If I don't have to work, then usually I drive my way to the studio, cross the bridge, I-275, get here. Usually that brings me to about 11 on an early day, maybe 1 on a later day if I got like a lot of errands and things to do beforehand. Usually my studio mates, Moose or Keto or somebody might be in the building, and you know, might smoke some weed, might kind of talk about what we got to do for the day, just kind of get right for the day. And then from that, depending on how the schedule's looking like, you know, if it's like crunch time and we got to do like a lot of jobs for like other people, then that might be the focus. But if we kind of have time and or we're all in the same space, then specifically like me and Moose, generally like we kind of get like inspired in bursts. So like we'll like, you know, we'll make one thing and then that one thing will kind of snowball into like a dozen other things. And usually it happens in a very spontaneous manner. So usually it'll just start with like an idea. And I think it's just because of like the proximity and the fact that like if he has an idea and I'm here, it bounces off of me, I bounce it back, and then we're like, all right, we got the tools to make it, let's make it. And then like, you know, we're pretty efficient in that sense. Like if we have an idea, we kind of make it happen relatively quick. So I feel like there's no like delay. Like, you know, in other collaborations, there's kind of like, you know, you gotta talk about it, you gotta send it out, gotta get it back, this, that. But because we're so like in close proximity and like a close creative space, like when we have an idea, it's just, and then, you know, now we got like a pillow, or we got like some art pieces, or we got like some plushy guns, or a new jacket, or this or that. So, you know, it just be happening, man. It happens in a very spontaneous and a hard to pin down manner.
Cool.
Like a rugged ingenuity.
Sweet. This man's a man of execution.
Execution, man. Trying to tell you, man.
That was solid. Is there any other questions you think you want to ask me?
Broadly or like specifically? I mean, sure. I guess another part of my come up was also within like the Tampa Bay like music and hip hop scene, and I kind of came up in that scene around like fresh out of like senior year of high school into like, you know, college and after that. And through that scene and network, I've seen it kind of grow and blossom in a very spectacular way. And up until recently, he used to kind of rub me the wrong way. People were like, oh yeah, Tampa doesn't have a music scene or da. I was like, no, bro, we do have a music scene. There's a lot of hardworking people in this bitch. I know a lot of these people and I see what the fuck they can do. Y'all just not participating in this shit, and you guys are missing out until it hits a mainstream level. And now we're kind of at that point, fast forward to 2022 from like 2015, maybe 7, 8, 9 years later. Now we're really starting to see like Tampa Bay artists like get some big looks, do some incredible things, really make some like big moves. But, you know, for people who weren't in the know, they just kind of look at it as like, oh, it happened overnight. It was a very spontaneous thing. I can't believe this would have happened. I didn't know this person came from Tampa. But it's like, nah, if you're in the know, if you're in the mix, if you're in the gut, you've seen all the work, all the bricks, all the foundation, all the layers that came in to make those things happen. Yeah, what they do? you've seen like all those steps that kind of happened and came through and like laid the foundation for people to propel themselves in a way that we're seeing now. Because like now for the first time we're seeing artists like Doechii and shit do like the BET Awards and like work with like Top Dog and Isaiah Rashad. We're seeing groups like Barely Legal and shit hit like 1 million streams. We're seeing all these different type of artists, Push Supreme getting like plaques and stuff. Like we're seeing all these artists from the Tampa Bay area really do some crazy things. Even like OGs like Tom G is like at a probably a more solidified point than ever in his like musical career as far as like Tampa Bay scene and just like respect and like, you know, if you're from Tampa, you know this man. You've probably seen this man. He's probably been in your backyard. Like the artists here who've been putting in work, making shit shake, like they've been doing it. They've been making it happen. And I guess like I just implore people to get on before, you know, I don't want to say it's too late, because if you're in Tampa, it's never too late. But like, you know, before these people blow up, man, show support. Give people the flowers while they're here to fucking experience them. I don't know, Tampa Bay, man, we're going crazy. Tampa and the St. Pete area, like there's a lot of like I like to refer to it more so now as like the Tampa Bay area, because like I like to incorporate Tampa and St. Pete as a person who's from Tampa but works in St. Pete and like mixes and mingles with both groups. I'm like, it's a lot of talent on both sides of the bay. A lot of fucking crazy artists coming out of here doing crazy shit, making incredible music, making crazy moves. Like, people just gotta pay attention. That's my little Tampa Bay rant.
Swag.
Fuck Tom Brady.
Yes.
Or Tom Brady. That.
Hey, that's sick. Sweet. Okay.
Cool.
I'm feeling good about that. There's definitely something in there.
Do you want to hop in and answer this question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got it.
Cool.
Hey, you're like very good on camera, very good singer.
Trying to tell you, man. Trying to tell you.
Heard of that.
Bro, you're like a Pharrell Williams on the come up.
I like that. I appreciate that quite immensely. That is my guy. That is my dude. And that's like, yeah, that's one of the artists who are also like, he's one of those people. He's probably working since like the 90s. People didn't know. He was working with Tricky Stewart, this, that. He was making some of the craziest tracks that people did not fucking know. He was going to Japan, making crazy moves and connections with niggas like Ego. People